Episode 2 of The Way of the Samurai. Ladies and gentlemen, Lady Snowblood. I kept on hearing Lady Snowblood is the inspiration for Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill, which is one of the coolest experiences, right? It's right up there with The Matrix in terms of like, oh, we're on a mission, and this Uma Thurman chick is ready to kill. But before that, there was a manga that was inspired into a movie, and we get the original tale of vengeance. Vengeance, as one Robert Pattinson might say in Batman 2. Dude, it's hard to look at something or it's hard to have something like up here, like put something on the pedestal essentially, and like live your life being like, yeah, that's the one, that's the shit, that's what it's all about. And then naturally, through time, with age, with grace, hypothetically, you're presented with the original. And when I say the original, it really felt like Tarantino was like, yo man, this Japanese stuff, we gotta get on this right now. Let's get some animators, let's make that sick animation scene by, I think it was Madhouse back then that actually did that. And it's cool, but also again, it takes us back to the idea of when we were here, right? When stuff was still black and white, the camera effects were just practical and to the point, and people were just doing things by hand because that's just how it worked. Here we get into a new era of cinema where I want to believe that somehow Michael Bay's explosions from the future created ripples in time to have the Japanese look at the Hollywood and see what they were doing at that time with production, stage, music, design, and blah, 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 to give us what I would consider the more traditional, even though maybe traditional is not the right word to put, let's call it the pop culture era of Japanese film. What that means is that you're getting, first of all, color. We're now at an era of color. And second of all, it gets crazy in terms of like, number one, presenting just this presentation of the character, right? We start off the movie, and it takes us to the very beginning. Things are not great, but even from the openings, right? Even from the opening credits to those like almost music videos where they created their own song for this movie with its own lyrics, which somehow relates to the story and the plot and all that stuff. Some people might call it a jingle, and maybe that's kind of where we got that from, but regardless, it is, without hopefully being offensive, it is like something super Japanese in film when you have that sick like music in the background, you have that sick like pan zoom into like this character in the corner, and it's like it shadows out everything else and it makes you focus. The effects that we got in this era, I definitely want to say were inspired by all the fanciness and all the craziness that Hollywood was all about. And it's interesting to see how these people, what do you mean you people? How the Japanese took those inspirations and did their own thing with it, right? It might have been like them trying to imitate the Americas, but they still had like their own flavor to it. And it was the era of Japan and like all that poppy vibe. So you have moments where like a synthesizer will drop its beats in the middle of a fight scene, and you're like, whoa, 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 what era is this, man? Like, what? Where is our mind at? Like, in this point in time. But still, damn good, damn expressive. There's no, I can't give an example as to like how maybe Wes Anderson, if you think about how expressive and creative and like maybe poppy, but also like purposely presented, he and his team make every scene of the film. And I'm not saying every scene is pure art. I'm not saying every scene has the best camera angle, but you can really tell that they were going for something different. Different just ends up being the inspiration to two of Tarantino's greatest films of all time. So let's talk about it. Who is Lady Snowblood? Why is she so damn cute? Well, TLDR, there is in the Meiji era, which is the time in the Japanese history where they were leaving the whole hierarchical shogun era, and the Westerners were bringing in technology, civilization, and basically strong arming the Japanese into like cooperation. If you do the history, America's been an asshole for a long time. And it's in this moment of mass influction where we get culture, where we get like finances, where we have different interests from all over the world converging in Japan. And yeah, it's right off the bat, we get the whole shtick of like, people are dying, the peasants don't have money, and then we have these hierarchical old families that want to be part of this new world, so they've invested money in America, and now they're like, yo, where are the Americans? And yeah, that creates a bit of an upset within the Japanese nationality, because like, yeah, for the Japanese. And it's interesting to see how some things haven't changed, right? I won't say never changed, because I'm never saying never, damn it. Beaver fever. But it's the point of, where does the change come from if the universe is set in its ways, or if this brand new world is laser focused on becoming this new era? Who gets to stand up and be like, yo man, that ain't cool, that ain't cool? Well, there's an understanding when it comes to movies, films, let's call it murder. The whole idea of vengeance, right? That drive to feel like you deserve repayment for something that was stripped from you unjustly, right? Retribution, vengeance, that methodical like drive to just make someone suffer. Simply put, you hurt me, I hurt you. I hurt you worse, you hurt me worse. Maybe someone doesn't, maybe until someone stops hurting each other. Oh, but then guess what? You hurt the person who was close to that and it's just this interesting stick. So we have a poor lady who has been forced to conceive, I put forced slightly, conceive a being that will carry this damaged person's will. And if that sounds complicated, then let me tell you, banging prison guards just so you can have a baby, just so you can die during its birth and be like, oh baby, You take all my anger into the world. Mothers, huh? I don't know how that conclusion came to be. It's something that kind of leaves me thinking about where is that line, right? Do we get to the point where such injustice is served that you know that in that moment you no longer are concerned with the future well-being of the next generation? You're just so focused on making sure that the next generation is doing what you want it to do, or doing the task that you had hoped to accomplish in your own timeline. But for whatever reason, we don't hit those marks. And we pass down this will, this inspiration, this drive, this desire, whether it be a positive or a negative force, into the arms of those that we carry, that we hold into the next generation. And that's a choice, you know? That's a choice. We get the story of the ultimate badass woman who, although she is beautiful, right? It's just putting that simply. The idea of this high-class lady walking throughout Japan, going into the dirty places, going to the slumvilles, right? In her nice-ass kimono, about to get jumped for obvious reasons, and she does not bat an eye. Sigma. It ain't male. It ain't just males. And what is really interesting to me is this whole idea of the female warrior, right? We think about recent years. I think about recent showcasings of films and how we portray women in those films, right? I'm directly thinking about Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. Granted, she was born into an apocalyptic universe, and there's no room for feminine wills in a universe where the men aren't playing nice anymore, let's just say. And how that kind of image is being presented here and there. Another great example, Jurassic Park World. Scarlett Johansson is out there blasting her fucking BB guns and being like, yeah, I'm Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. Okay, you're a military army specialist and you were in a tank top. Got it. And then we think about Ana de Armas, who, although the film Ballerina had like, I think I didn't like it as much, right? It just, if you're gonna put the name Ballerina on this, if you're gonna place that title on this woman, you gotta give her more grace. And I'm sorry, Anna, but it's the idea of the lady, the feminine presence, right? Can become terrifying when you realize just how dangerous that woman is. I'll tell you, a lot of people won't never know. But for those that like see deeper than that, right? Those that aren't just looking at, oh, that's a girl with muscles and she's wearing a tank top because she's flexing, and oh man, she must be so manly. What are we going here for? And then you present us, or Great Old Japan presents us with this young lady, primed, kimonoed out, freaking umbrella, and everything about that is deadly. Because she's just not a pretty face. She's not just another Japanese nobility maiden. She has purpose. She has drive. And for the past 13x years, she's been trained to become a killer. And that is the scariest thing a woman can do. So, if we're looking at this, if we're seeing how Tarantino saw this film and then it was like, yo man, Uma Thurman, hit her up real quick. I need to get her on the phone. We're gonna make this movie. And even then, Uma Thurman, arguably less feminine-ish than a woman wearing a kimono, right? You think about her in that yellow Bruce Lee jumpsuit, and you're like, okay, that's pretty badass. She's on a motorcycle. She's out there. So there is that that culture aspect there as well, right? There is that kind of representation of what's being sold to the viewers and how the viewers are taking that interpretation or message or belief and what we go from there, where we go from there. Dayo, Lady Snowblood, a film that, like, again, you keep on hearing these names and you think you have an inclination of what people are talking about, but you would never dare open your mouth because speaking out of ignorance is one of the stupidest things you could do. And thankfully, with her grace, with her patience, and with the introduction of a really cool side character who I really grew fond of. They call him the stray dog, the yapping dog. Hey man. We got something, man. We got something that was pretty damn epic, right? We have the introduction of like practical effects. I believe this is like one of the first times we actually see the blood splatter. Like they started using guns with pumps to start splurging out blood. And although obviously the blood no longer looks realistic, it still makes its point, right? You see her move, you see her gracefully like sway, and then you see her slash, and you see the freaking blood hit the walls. And you know, man, you know that there was some direction in this, there was some inspiration. So, where do we take that inspiration, and how do we harness that to create more beautiful things? And the worst, at the end of the day, at the bare minimum, if there's one thing we can learn from this, is that Ballerina 2 has to step it up. Like, a lot. A flamethrower is nothing. Come on. Katanas, baby. Katanas! So, with that being said, Lady Snowblood is actually still up and available for viewership at the Alamo Draft House. And actually, give me 5 seconds. I'm gonna go on a quick rant. You're with me in the. So, Wave the Samurai, Alamo Draft House, 20-ish bucks per ticket. And here's the rant. How the fuck are you gonna sell me a $50 popcorn bucket and try to upcharge me $10 for fucking popcorn? Are you fucking kidding me? Who the fuck came up with that? That's it. Still, it's kind of cool. I don't know where we're at with this, man. I really don't. Because when this guy comes up and gives me like an empty bucket and I'm just like there like, does it come with popcorn? Like, ooh, it's extra. How much is extra? I think it's like 10. It's probably 12. And I'm just like, bro. Number 2 comes back with the receipt. 45 fucking bucks. 45 fucking bucks, and you can't give a fucking bag of popcorn with this shit. God fucking damn it. Just kidding. Actually like this. But inflation is so fucking stupid, man. Anyways, that is it right there. If you are interested in that bucket, that is 45 fucking bucks, but don't expect to get the Togarashi seasoned popcorn, because that's what I wanted to try. Sorry, that's it. Sorry, not sorry. Lady Snowblood, if you have time, if you have the patience, and if you are willing to drop 25, 75 bucks for the full experience, if there's food involved, then yes, you too can drive out to the Alamo Draft House in downtown Los Angeles, and you too can watch Lady Snowblood as part of the Way of the Samurai. Would I recommend it? Hell yeah. This is if you like Kill Bill, if you even think that that movie is kind of cool, I think you deserve to watch the original. And I will say that without any qualms. Tarantino straight up copied Lady Snowblood. There are scenes that are like almost one for one. And like, maybe you can say the writer of Kill Bill, or The Bride, right, borrowed inspiration from Lee Sakia, but still, man, it's almost impressive to how far a lot of things were copied. Let's call it inspired, because I don't want to just say it's copied. You know, there's different motivations for the two stories. One is in revenge of the wedding and the life and the family that was stripped from her, as in her baby, and the second is the life of a orphan who knew nothing more but a single desire to kill. And we go from there. So, ladies, I keep on wanting to say Lady Sakia. That's somebody else. Lady Stormblood. If you have checked it out, please let me know what you think. How is it weird? Like, can we watch this and then watch Kill Bill and be like, do y'all feel weird? Something's different, man. So that's kind of where I'm at. Definitely go check that out if you have the availability and the luxury to do so. And let us know, man, what samurai films are out there. We got a couple more. I think we got 2 or 3 more films coming up within the week, and I'd like to keep on trying. I like to keep on watching, and I'm very interested to see how, again, these timepieces start jumping around. We might go back in time for the next one. I'm not too sure if it's Lone Wolf and Cub or the other one, Demo. Still, every Friday they put in a new title to check out, and I will be doing my best to check them out every Friday, so we can come back around and give you all a beautiful rendition of cinema. But in case you didn't know, it's been your boy EXP666, wishing you buen día, buenas tardes, and an awesome mañana. But until then, hasta la próxima. Ciao. Mátane. Is that Naruto?